Welcome to Hanging Out with Robert, that's me. This video contains things that I tinker with throughout the day. For step-by-step detailed instructions of those tasks, you can click on the links in the comment section below. I plan on leaving this video accessible for about 30 days. After that, you can view it through my Patreon account. This video also has tips and tricks that I've learned over the years. So, thank you very much for watching. I call this vehicle the Blue Dragon. It's actually the Blue Beast. I'm taking out these busted up, messed up, dry rotted up vinyl seats that was in here. I don't know how they got vinyl. Put in these nice blue seats. And this one is working great. They're not heated. But the recline is a little messed up. Gotta hit that switch just right. So, going on the other side, finish up the other side. I'm not sure why, but some of these cars are wired for power and electrical, and some of them are not. It looks like we struck gold. This one is probably wired for power. I had to wire my daughter's at 98. So let's see if this one's going to work when I drop the seat in. At least need to put this preheat tube on this Airbox. It controls the flap on the bottom of the Airbox, and when that thing is not working right or missing, broken, like you see on the back of there, your vacuum doesn't work right, and you probably lose a massive fuel economy. So let me get this pressed on there. Down here somewhere, that little tube plugs in. That's the inlet, the plug for it. Gosh, it's hard to even see that thing. It's right there. One side goes in there, the other side goes up on that brass tip right there. So there it is, from there to down there. And I'm going to put this Airbox in. That flap there has to open and close depending on the preheat air it gets from that. You take the Airbox out on the non-turbo cars, be extra careful that you don't break that top vacuum there. Those things are hard to find. Rotor steel's fine, no wear. I'm going to pull these pads off. They look like they're gone. Grease up the new ones or the replacement used ones and put those on. But if you could do this, you got a bad control arm. See that movement down there? Ball joint's bad on that lower control arm. Time to change the oil on Queen Bee. I think I got about 10,000 miles on this oil. Not sure. See if I can see the oil filter. Man, this dirt is soft. 216. Is that what this is? If that's the case, about 13,000 miles on this oil. It is, folks. I got about 13,000 miles on this oil. I changed this oil evidently on the 20th of January. So let me go ahead and change it, send in the oil sample. I got the oil lab report back for Queen Bee. As you can see, the date just not quite a month ago. This is for Queen Bee, the Volvo 2.3 turbo. We have the engine was failed, the first one, and I replaced it with an engine with about 112,000 miles. I didn't remember this, but I did an oil sample on this car with the failed engine. So the first sample you'll see is the one with the failed engine. Now when I look at the overall comments, when I put the engine in the car, I ran it for a few minutes and then I changed the oil. I put the Mobile 1 in there, I ran it about 7,000 miles and I changed the oil. And this oil has about 13,400 miles on it, with 2 quarts was changed in that time. Now, it says that it's as expected, has copper, lead, and silicone, or probably break-in. I don't know why they would think it needs broken in when it had 112,000 miles on it. So maybe not. We'll see on the next change. I'm going to run another sample in 10,000 miles. As long as they drop in the next sample, we're fine. There aren't anything to worry about. Fuel, of course, I know the car's running rich, is at 0.5%. Isn't problematic either, just running rich. And the TBN is down about 1. It still has some life left on it. So they recommend me do oil changes at 15,000 miles. So even though I put 13,467 miles on this oil, they said it was still good for use. Now, over here, you find the oil change of the engine that was blown. It had real high aluminum, pretty high iron. However, the replacement engine has kind of high copper and a little bit high on lead. The numbers were high here on the blown engine. And then we come down and we got some things. Now they say the universal averages over here. I have 5. The average is 3. I have 1 chromium. It should be 0. Iron is 18. Average is 14. Copper 21. Average is 5. Lead 14. Average 1. Tin is 1. The next thing here is 78. The average is 88. Nickel 0. I got some zeros on this stuff here. Baron, not sure what that is. It's 32. It says something about the averages being 50. Silicon, which is dirt, is 14. The averages is 6. So I'll change it 10,000 miles. And I also need to check to see if that has a can-in filter. Make sure it has a paper filter in there. So those are some of my other numbers there, which they say are acceptable, especially that high magnesium. Then we come down here, look at, this is within range. Viscosity is within range. The flash point should be higher than 385. It's actually low. Fuel should be under 2. It's right at 0.5. No antifreeze, no water in there. And the TBN is 1.6. It should be greater than 1. So that's the oil sample for Queen Bee. Let me show you another oil sample that I got from one of our other viewers that has a S70. He changes his oil about every 3,000. Now here is an oil sample from a 98 S70 T5. Pretty much the same engine. However, he's using 530 where I'm using 1040. Mainly because of the climates. If you're going to be driving your car, the temperature outside less than 85 degrees, this is the oil weight you want to use, especially if you're going to experience starting it with temperatures ranging around 0. So if I was up north like this, I would probably run 1030 in the summer, 530 in the winter. Switch the oil twice a year. Those that are miles on it, I probably wouldn't change the filter, just drain and replace the oil. That was the miles on the oil. This is their comments. That he said that he was referred by me. His Volvo looks similar in this report as it did in the last. And this is not ideal for it with a shorter interval. So they think the last sample was 6,000 miles. This sample was about 2,000 miles. He has some steel, abrasion, bronze wear in the engine. This may be due to a new turbo that was installed. I doubt he let them know that. This car lives in Chicago. It's tough city, hard driving. They recommend quick oil changes. So this is his current sample, and this was his first and his second sample. So his second sample was done at 1,200 miles. So he's got aluminum wear 4, chromium 1, iron is up to 21. That's higher than it had been the previous 2 times. Copper is a little high compared to his last sample. Actually, this was his first sample, and this was the second. So, apologize for that. And this is his current sample, and this is his average. So, he had a little bit of elevated iron. Copper is a little higher than usual. Everything else in his sample looks pretty good. Viscosity is on the low side. I don't know if he changed the oil with the oil hot. That may have something to do with his viscosity. That viscosity at 100 is just a smidget low. His flash point is low, like mine's. Little bit of fuel in there. He did not do TBNs, but at changing the oil at that rate, TBNs are probably very fine. So, this is his report. It's got averages over here. I thank him for sharing that information with us. So even though he's changing oil in 2,000 miles, his report is not much better than the reports on mine, which I did 12,000 miles. But then again, I do probably 65-70% highway driving, where most of his driving is intense city driving there in the Chicago. Here's a little clip with the 3 oil samples. This one is the S70 with 2,000 miles on it. This one is Queen B with 13,400 miles on it. And this one is the Panther with 1,200 miles on it. So, this is how these samples shake down. Aluminum, Panther has a slight bit more. Chromium is the same. Iron, Panther's a lot higher. That could be because of the high silicon. And I put a new cylinder head in that car. Copper, Panther was lower than both with 12,000 miles on it. Lead, Panther didn't have any. Tin, Panther just barely had some. I keep mentioning Panther because that engine has 390,000 miles on it, where Queen B's engine is believed to be at 133, and the S70 is about 170. And then you can see the rest of the results down here. And of course, the TBN on Queen B was fine. It had 4 quarts added. So, depending on where you live and how you drive your car will depend on how often you need to replace your oil. They're telling me to go longer on the oil changes with Panther and Queen B, and they're encouraging the guy with the S70 that did a 2,000 mile oil change to change it every 2,000 miles. So there you have it. Still a prime reason why it's good to get an oil sample on your engine so you can see how it's wearing and how you could possibly correct issues that are going on with it. If you feel that this information was useful, please like it and share it with your social media friends. You can subscribe to my channel so that you will get notifications of future videos that I post. You can follow me on Twitter, and if you need to contact me directly, please visit my website. And if you have any questions, leave them below, and someone or myself will reply to them. Again, thank you very much for watching.